because I don't want to get to the end of my life and not recognize my kids or have cognitive function. And then also, it's not just men who have heart disease and heart problems, it's women as well. And I think that there's not enough emphasis on that. So, I put the cayenne in a little capsule product called Heart Love, and it has some cinnamon and slippery elm in it as well. But, I think that those are probably my two biggest, because heart health and brain health are so, so important.
Thank you. Our next question, I think Michelle has another question for us. Michelle, what's your question?
Hi. Yes, I have a husband, 72. We've been trying for 2 years to naturally lower his blood pressure. Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah. So is your husband an exerciser, first of all?
Not like to the gym, but he still does outside lawn maintenance all the time, 2 or 3 days a week. So he's always physically active.
Okay. Yeah. So I definitely have some really, really favorite herbs. And this is actually something that I formulated a tincture about 6 or 7 years ago for high blood pressure. So yes, get ready to write this down. So my favorites are Hawthorne, black cumin seed, and we actually put this into a tincture, but you can get black cumin seed oil from a couple of the places that I mentioned to the woman who asked where you get bulk herbs. You can get black cumin seed oil, and you keep it in your fridge, but just like a teaspoon of that a day is really good for high blood pressure. Celery seed, cardamom, which is also a spice, and garlic. And those are all super, super good for getting, I've had so many people use this tincture in particular and completely normalize their blood pressure. It does take some patience and consistency. A lot of herbs, it's not a quick fix a lot of times. So patience and consistency is always really important when you're healing yourself using herbs and natural things.
So I would get that from you.
Well, it's called BP Support, and it's a liquid tincture, and it actually tastes really good. If you think about it, there's garlic and cardamom and black cumin seed and celery seed. It actually tastes really good too.
And how often would he do that a day?
So here's what I would do to start, especially if he's struggling with his blood pressure. I would do like 25 to 30 drops 3 times a day for at least 30 days. And I would do that definitely 3 times a day. And then he can go down to twice a day, and I'd probably maintain it there, especially because of his age. And especially if he's been having issues of keeping his blood pressure in a normal range.
It was 250 2 years ago. We have it at 165 now.
Oh,
but
that's good.
The doctor is mad at him because he won't go on blood pressure medications.
Oh my gosh.
It's just been by asking questions to people like you.
He should be able to get that completely into absolute normal ranges.
So does his insulin spike his blood pressure? Is that a real connection?
Yeah, especially does he have a problem with blood sugar and insulin?
Well, someone said he should watch his sugar intake, that it spikes his blood pressure.
Well, everybody should watch their sugar intake, in my opinion.
We do that. I was wondering what you knew. And can you tell me what site you have that I order this on? Which one it is? What's your site?
So it's barlowherbal.com. So BarlowHerbal. And if you just go to barlowherbal.com, and if you just even put BP, it should, or you could put BP support, you could put blood pressure in the search, and it should bring it up. And if you have questions, we're a very small team. We're family owned. Both my boys work with me. You can call and ask questions, or if you need help, you can't find what you're looking for, there's a phone number, and you can contact us really super easy.
If it's okay, I have one question for me.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have cataract surgery, and they say I have bad eye inflammation. Any suggestions?
Yeah, so that is something that, as far as eye support thing, we're working on, but like we don't have anything specific. But I think it's very difficult to heal cataracts with herbs. Now, there's a way to keep your eye health, like ginkgo. Ginkgo is not only good for your brain, memory, hearing, focus, all that, but because it stimulates, or it's very well known for what it does for neck up, your brain. It includes your eyes. So I do a ginkgo every single day. Not just for my brain, but I know it's good for my eyes. You need something like, there's a nutrient called lutein that is found in things like eggs, the yolks of eggs. But you can also get, I use an eye support that has lutein in it from Mercola. I don't know if you've ever heard of Mercola.
No.
But he's a doctor, Joseph Mercola, and I've been buying some stuff that I use that I don't have, I've got from him. So it's just mercola.com.
And actually, Michelle, you're in luck. Dr. Gordon Sachs was talking specifically about cataracts last night, and an herbal remedy. So yesterday, I'm not sure exactly what time, but his you can go look him up on our website and watch the pre-recorded video. So it's therealtruthAboutHealth.com where you registered. And then you can go to look at the videos from the previous days. And his name is Dr. Gordon Sachs, S-A-X-E. And he personally had a cataracts issue that he was taking something for. And you can watch his talk about whether or not, how much it worked and what he did for it.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you, Michelle. I'm going to ask you a few questions here on let me get back to my question list here. So I'm going to ask you, about a few different ailments, if you can give us some guidance, like herbal solutions for acid reflux. What would you recommend for that?
Well, enzymes, I would, enzymes are really good. Chewable papaya enzymes are really good. Also, acid reflux, from my own personal experience, and this is definitely not my area of expertise, is caused by lack of stomach acid. So I've actually taken like an HCl supplement when I was having some digestive issues and some acid reflux. But my best, what I've used is as chewable papaya enzymes. I don't have a whole lot of experience with acid reflux.
Sure. And how about constipation?
So constipation, things like Cape Aloe, Cascara Sagrada, those are probably my two favorites. Apple pectin, like one of the easy things is everyone should eat an apple a day, unless they have a problem with eating apples. But apples give you not only the bulk, there's the pectin. And you don't want to get caught on using an herbal, like Cape Aloe and Cascara Sagrada, which are two of my, like I said, my favorite herbs for constipation. Your body can get used to them, where you can't have a normal bowel movement because your body just starts to depend on them. So I would say, do a little bit of research. We do have a product called Smooth Cleanse. That is a 2-week colon cleanse and can help normalize your bowel movements. And then the goal is to get enough bulk, get moving, get active, drink plenty of water. A lot of people are chronically constipated because they're dehydrated. It's something as simple as that. But and I have I'm glad you asked me this, because it can be more of a problem than I even think about, because I've never really had that problems with that. But I have a really close, dear friend. She's lives nearby. She's in her mid-70s, and she's very, very fit. She takes very good care of her health, and she was having chronic constipation. And so she did a couple of cleanses. She did some herbs that I suggested. And then what ended up changing the game for her and getting her bowel movements back to normal is she went and had a round of colonics. There's a lady here locally who does it, and she did everything she could naturally, and she started having some success, but then her body was just, but then she went in and had, I think she had 5 or 6 colonics spaced out just right. And she had some blockages up there that just needed to be cleared out with some good colonics. So that really helped change the game for her.
Great. And how about approaches that we should take to have a healthy liver?
Well, my favorite for healthy liver is super easy, especially if someone's a tea drinker. Dandelion root tea. Dandelion is so nourishing, detoxifying, and supportive for your liver. I also really love milk thistle. Those are probably my top 2. You can get milk thistle in a capsule form. You can also get dandelion in capsule form. And we actually do a capsule product called Liver Love. And this is one thing we suggest that you take prior to using Lomatium, because it helps to support and detox and nourish the liver. So yeah, I would say if you drink alcohol, you should definitely take a liver support as often as you can, even if it's just drinking dandelion tea every day. Those are my favorites, especially the dandelion and the milk thistle.
Thank you so much. All right, next question is coming from Leonard. Where are you from and what's your question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm from Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania. And one of my questions was, for many years, I put in Comfrey, Comfrey, the herb, in my garden. And it's really pervasive. It grows quite a bit. And I just wanted to know what your ideas were to how to use it safely. I know I've heard some bad things about Comfrey, but what would you suggest? I can't get rid of it. I try to get rid of it out of my garden sometimes, but so it's always coming back. I get the root and the leaves. And what do you do with your Comfrey if you have it?
Yeah, so Comfrey is what's known as a bone mender. And because I had so many siblings and I had a dad who knew herbs, we actually also had a big Comfrey plant right next to the front porch of the house I grew up in. And you're right, it's a perennial, it's beautiful, and it's very hardy, and it's a little bit hard to get rid of, but it's also a very beautiful plant. So there were several times that my dad used, he took the Comfrey leaves, he macerated them, he made them into a poultice. He mixed them he got some oil. I think the oil he mostly used when we were growing up was like olive oil when he would make a poultice. And then I remember there's 2 of my brothers. They were totally out playing. There was a canal next to our house, and they were roughing around, and one of them broke his arm and one fractured his elbow. They were roughing around in this canal, and the brother broke his arm, had to have his arm set, but they didn't put a cast on it, but they had it in a sling. And my dad, it wasn't a full break. It was just, it was a fracture. And so I remember my dad getting the Comfrey and actually making it into a poultice. And every day he would change it, and he would pack a Comfrey poultice on my brother's arm. And it actually healed very quickly. And then my other brother, the same with his elbow, which also had a weird little sling that my dad made. And then the poultice was around the elbow. So it is not suggested that you use it internally unless you really know what you're doing with it, because it can be toxic and potent. And I would say from my experience with Comfrey, it's mostly something that's used in a topical application, but hard to get rid of for sure. It's pretty, it's got the pretty pink flowers, and if you can find a way to love it, that's what I would suggest.
Also, one time, my mother put this plant in. I believe it was called Borage. And I actually ate a little bit of it, and I got a really severe reaction. I was eliminating through every which way part of my body. And then after that, I was sort of like, I was sick for about maybe a couple of weeks. I'm wondering, I'm still not sure whether it was called borage or not, but it sort of had, the leaves had like a little bit of like a, I want to say like hairy type, like hairs on it, I guess you would say, almost like a comfrey, which I think has the same thing. I guess would you know anything about borage? I make borage oil, I believe.
Yeah. I've actually used borage it also in a salve, like you infuse it into, and it does have some healing properties to it, but I've never eaten it. You're brave.
All right. Our next question is going to come from Marley. Marley, where are you from? And what's your question?
Good afternoon. I'm from Hollywood, Florida, and I so admire your work and your dad's work. I've seen you speak before, and I actually bought Lomatium because I heard you talking about it and I researched it. So my question is, when COVID was really happening, like 2020, 2021, my husband and I got sick a couple of times. We never tested positive for it, but I took it. And I took oil of oregano, which I normally take during flu season. And I can vouch for it. It really works great. Can I mix those two? Because I did. And I added another herb that I don't remember if I heard it from your talks or somebody else's talk. It's called Umcalobo. It's UMCKALOABO.
I've never heard of that, but you can definitely blend the Lomatium and the oil of oregano. Yeah, I've never heard of that other plant. Is it come from, do you know where it comes from?
It's South African, and it's it's well known for its effects on respiratory viruses, bronchitis, and sinus. And I've suffered from that many times in the past. I can honestly say, knock on wood, I've been really, really healthy in the last year or two.